You know that feeling? It's midsummer, the heat's relentless, and you're on your third mow of the week. You've applied fertilizer, you're watering every evening, and somehow your lawn still looks patchy and worn. Meanwhile, your neighbor barely seems to touch his, and his looks genuinely perfect. Somehow, you're exhausted and he isn't. You're starting to wonder if you're just not cut out for this. Here's what nobody tells you up front. You've been sold a lie. The hardware stores want you to believe it. The lawn care companies definitely want you to believe it. Even the online guides push this same narrative. Lawns are needy, demanding, high-maintenance creatures that require constant attention. Mow every week. Fertilize 4 times a year. Water every evening. More, more, more. So you follow that script. You put in the work. You spend the money. And by August, you're burned out, your water bill's shocking, and your grass still looks like it's struggling. But here's what I've actually noticed. The people with genuinely healthy, beautiful lawns, they're not fussing more than you. They're fussing smarter. They've figured out something the lawn care industry doesn't want you to know, that constant intervention actually works against you, not for you. The real shift is this. Instead of reacting to every problem as it pops up, instead of treating your Saturday afternoon like another task on an endless list, you set your lawn up once with the right approach, and then it actually takes care of itself. That's not laziness, that's how professionals do it. Today, I'm walking you through 7 tactical shifts that will literally cut your lawn work in half while your grass actually improves. These aren't secrets. They're just the things that never seem to make it into the viral advice. Ready to reclaim your weekends? Before we dive into these hacks, let me point you towards something genuinely useful. It's called my Autopilot Garden, and it's basically a practical guide for people like us who want a beautiful garden but refuse to turn it into a second job. It covers exactly this: how to set up your lawn, plants, and watering so it actually runs itself. No guesswork, no constant fussing. There's a link in the description below. Now, let's get into the actual 7 hacks and start saving you some serious time. All right, let's jump straight into these 7 hacks. Hack number 1, and this is going to sound wrong at first. Most people mow at the same height every single week. You get into the rhythm of it, right? Tuesday's mowing day, or whenever you've decided. Then the grass grows half an inch, and you think you have to mow again. But here's what professional turf managers actually do. They mow less frequently, and they mow higher. Here's why it matters. When you cut grass short, you're exposing bare soil to direct sunlight and heat. That drives water evaporation straight up. Your lawn dries out faster, which means you have to water more often. Short grass also equals shallow roots because the grass doesn't need to dig deep for moisture. Shallow roots mean less drought tolerance, which means more stress during hot spells. And here's the thing nobody mentions. Bare soil and heat, that's the exact environment weeds love. You're basically inviting them in. So shift from mowing every 7 days at 2 to 2.5 inches, and instead mow every 10 days at 3.5 inches. Taller grass shades the soil, keeps moisture in, forces roots deeper, and makes it harder for weeds to establish. Your mower runs less, you save time and effort, your grass is actually healthier. 3 wins from 1 change. Hack 2. Your fertilizer schedule is probably 4 times when it should be 2. The standard advice, the one every lawn care company sells you on, is spring, early summer, midsummer, and fall. So you follow it. You buy the bags, you spread it, you feel like you're doing the right thing. But here's what actually works if you're not trying to run a golf course. 2 applications. That's all you need. 1 in spring when the grass is waking up and has the energy to actually use the nutrients. 1 in early fall when the grass is putting energy into rebuilding roots before dormancy hits. Summer? Your grass is already stressed from heat. That fertilizer you're applying either washes away in a thunderstorm or burns the lawn in the heat. It's not bad advice if you're chasing magazine covers, but it's overkill if you want a healthy lawn without burning yourself out. Here's the subtle part. Use slow-release fertilizer in spring. It feeds gradually over weeks instead of giving your grass a growth burst that demands extra water and invites disease. 2 applications, slow-release spring, 1 in early fall. Done. You save money, save time, and your lawn ends up better. Hack 3. Stop watering every evening for 15 minutes. If you're doing that, you're training your grass to be shallow-rooted and dependent. The roots stay in the top inch or two of soil, they get used to daily moisture, and the moment you have a hot week without water, your lawn panics and turns brown. What actually builds a lawn that can handle itself? Water deeply but infrequently. Once or twice a week, 30 to 45 minutes per session, depending on the heat. This forces roots down, deep into the soil where moisture stays longer and doesn't evaporate as fast. Deep roots mean a lawn that handles dry spells without drama. There's also a side benefit nobody talks about. If you water shallowly every evening in high humidity, you're basically creating a fungus spa. Deep, less frequent watering prevents that problem entirely. You use less water overall, your water bill drops, and you're not fussing with irrigation every evening. Once you establish that rhythm, something clicks. You're not fighting chaos anymore. You're following a clear pattern. You know what your lawn needs in which month. That's the shift from constant micromanaging to actually having a system. It's the same mindset shift that my Autopilot garden is built around, understanding not just what to do, but why you're doing it and when. Because once you get that framework in your head, you stop guessing. You know your lawn's needs, not because you're paranoid, but because you understand how it actually works. That knowledge is what separates people who stress about their lawns from people who just maintain them confidently. There's a link in the description if you want that deeper perspective. Now let's talk about the tasks everyone overdoes. Hack 4. Scarify once a year, rake once a season. Scarification is a useful tool. Raking is fine. But the constant obsessive raking and scarifying you see in some gardening content, that's performance, not lawn care. It looks impressive. It makes you feel like you're really doing something. But your grass doesn't actually need it. The real schedule is this. Scarify once in early spring if you've got thatch buildup or moss problems. Once a year, maybe twice if you're in a really humid climate. Raking? Once a season, maybe twice. That's plenty. Here's what most people don't realize. The grass clippings you leave behind when you mow, they're basically fertilizer. If you've got a mulching mower, you're literally feeding your soil every time you cut. You don't need to rake everything up and bag it. Honestly, you're just throwing away fertility when you do. So the shift is, scarify sparingly, rake sparingly, let your clippings work for you. You get your Saturdays back. Your back hurts less. Your soil actually improves. Everyone wins. Hack 5. Stop fighting the clover. Here's a shift that bothers a lot of people because the internet has told them clover is the enemy. But a lawn that's pure grass monoculture is actually less healthy than a lawn with clover and wildflowers mixed through it. I know that sounds wrong. Clover is a legume. It has a relationship with soil bacteria that actually fixes nitrogen. So clover is literally creating fertility for your grass. It also has deeper roots than grass, which helps break up compacted soil. And pollinators absolutely love it. Meanwhile, that perfect, pure grass lawn, higher maintenance, needs more fertilizer, does nothing for wildlife. So instead of fighting clover, accept it. Let it grow. Let wildflowers establish themselves in corners. A lawn that's 70% grass and 30% clover and wildflower is more sustainable, more beautiful in its own way, and way less work than trying to maintain a sterile monoculture. Your neighbors might look sideways at it, but your lawn will be genuinely healthier. And you'll have bees. Hack 6. Mower maintenance beats every other hack I've mentioned. A sharp blade on a well-maintained mower does more for your lawn than anything else you can do. A dull blade doesn't cut, it tears. Torn grass tips turn brown, they invite disease, they stress the plant. A sharp blade cuts clean. The grass heals. You get that beautiful mowed look without damaging anything. Sharpen your mower blade once a month during mowing season. Clean the air filter. Change the oil. Check tire pressure. It's not exciting, but it takes 30 minutes a month and prevents the chaos of a broken mower mid-summer or the slow decline of cutting with a dull blade. A broken mower means your grass goes untended, gets overgrown, and suddenly you're scrambling. Prevention is always easier than emergency fixes. Hack 7. This one is different. It's not tactical. It's permission. The biggest shift I've seen happen for people who are burned out is realizing you don't need to constantly manage your lawn. You just need to set it up right once and then let it be. The difference is freedom. When you're constantly fussing, you're reactive. You mow because it grew. You fertilize because you think you should. You water because you're anxious. But once you've got the system right, the right mowing height, the right fertilizer timing, deep watering on a schedule, your lawn runs itself. You're not managing it anymore. You're maintaining it. That's the shift from burnout to actually enjoying your garden. So here's my question for you. Which of these 7 is going to change your summer the most? Is it raising your mowing height? The fertilizer shift?
Finally making peace with clover?
Or is it just the permission to stop fussing constantly? Drop a comment. Tell me which one you're trying first. This week, pick one action. Just one. Check your mower height. If you're cutting at 2 inches, raise it to 3.5. Then schedule your next mow for 10 days out instead of 7. That single change, one higher cut, one longer interval, will probably reduce your stress more than anything else. And as we head into the most brutal part of summer, knowing you're not fighting your lawn but actually working with it makes everything different. If this landed for you, hit like. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Turn on the bell if you want to stay in the loop. Thanks for being here and for caring enough about your garden to do it right. Now go check that mower height and reclaim your Saturdays. See you next time.